Theories of evolution. Here we will discuss two theories, the theories of special creation and catastrophism. The similarity among varieties of plant and animal species in morphology, anatomy, physiology, and genetic makeup are not accidental. This suggests that all of them are evolved from a single common ancestor, and through evolutionary forces of adaptation, natural selection, hybridization, etc., in due course of time, they are gradually changed. In short, we can say that evolution is a process whereby the characteristics of organisms change over time, eventually leading to the formation of new species. Concepts and theories like creationism, catastrophism, Lamarckism and neo-Lamarckism, Darwinism and neo-Darwinism are the different concepts and theories of origin and evolution of life on Earth. We shall look into these concepts and theories. Creationism, or sometimes known as the theory of special creation, is a theory that explains about the origin of the universe and life as is accounted in the first chapter of Genesis. Father Suarez, a Spanish monk who is one of the greatest advocates of this theory, taught the people that the world was made in 6 natural days. On the first 2 days, the material primer was made out of nothing, and it was to receive afterwards those substantial forms which molded into the universe of things. On the 3rd day, the ancestors of all living plants suddenly came up into being, full grown, perfect, and possessed of all the properties which now distinguish them, while on the 5th and 6th days, the ancestors of all existing animals were similarly caused to exist in their complete and perfect state. Finally, on the 6th day, the anima rationalis, that rational and immortal substantial form which is peculiar to man, was created out of nothing and brought into a mass of matter, and so man arose. But the species man was represented by a solitary male individual until the Creator took out one of his ribs and fashioned it into a female. The religious teaching was so influenced upon the Europeans that his teaching continued until the middle of 19th century. In his article entitled Defense of Creationism, Paul Abramson, 2009, gives arguments in support of creationism theory. The following are few of quotations. Atheistic evolution is unscientific. In science, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Science shows us that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. The sum total of the universe today, no matter what the scientific experiment, remains the same. The existence of fossil fuels defies evolutionary theory, primary evidence that there was a great flood. In the western United States, many forests are at least 1,000 or 2,000 years of old. Individual trees die and begin to decay, but the forest lives on. Decaying vegetation adds mineral to topsoil. The topsoil that nourishes the surface, the life soil actively transforms that into renewed life supporting material. Approximately 140 years ago, after Charles Darwin published The Origin of Species in 1859, the educated Western elite decided that the modern age had arrived. God as creator could be dispensed with. They further determined that most of the Bible must be composed of fabricated or enhanced tales, not too unlike other ancient legends they wrongly thought. Probably there have been some prophet named Jesus, but to believe that such uneducated, pre-laptop computer people could have accurately preserved tales dating back to 1,000 years or longer, back to King David or that mythical Moses, impossible. Such stories of heroism and honor, of prophecy, deceit, outnumber battle victories, and sensing moral laws could be relegated to the cultural dustbin, along with Homer's Odyssey and other ancient literary inventions. But the pure educated Western elite soon had one problem: modern archaeology. Jesus once said that if the people did not speak up, the stones would cry out. Over the last 100 years, this is exactly what has happened. Beginning in about the 1890s through to the 1920s and later, a series of stunning Middle Eastern archaeological excavations began irrefutably proving biblical accounts of ancient lost cities, their rulers, past battles, customs, etc. Scientists who support the theory of evolution discarded the concept of creationism, is what is written in Bible are not testable and verifiable through empirical observation. On the contrary, many major religions of the world, including Hinduism, Christianism, and Islamism, believe that God created everything. However, anthropologists like Vokendra in India opine that the Hindu 10 incarnation theory, thus avatar, is conformed to the theory of organic evolution. Along with this biological parallelism, thus also explain culture and parallelism of early lifestyles of people with Hindu philosophy. French geologist Georges Cuvier was one of the founder paleontologists who was interested in collection of fossil animals, especially extinct ones, and observed that these findings do not have living types. His collection and analysis of fossils leads to construct a theory, the theory of catastrophism, to account these fossils. His motivation was to explain the patterns of extinction and changes in the animal structure and forms that he and others were observing in the fossil records. Catastrophism is the idea that many of the Earth's crustal pieces, such as strata layers, erosion, fossils, etc., are formed as a result of past cataclysmic activity. According to him, the Earth had experienced many severe calamities like flood and earthquake, in which many fauna species have been destroyed. After coming back to a normal situation of its destruction, new creatures, which are relatively higher forms, replacing the old ones, are created, and what one sees as different living forms as compared to old extinct ones are not true continuity. For instance, Noah's flood had killed previous kinds of living creatures, which each were replaced by new creations, not by evolving of old ones. Catastrophism in geology is the doctrine that at intervals in the Earth's history, all living things have been destroyed by cataclysm, such as floods or earthquakes, as we have mentioned earlier, and replaced by an entirely different population. During these cataclysms, the features of the Earth's surface, such as mountains and valleys, were formed. Interestingly, this theory of catastrophism was more easily correlated with religious doctrines and remained for some time the interpretation of the Earth's history accepted by the great majority of geologists. Now let's see some of the empirical evidence in support of this theory of catastrophism. The following is an explanation in support of this theory of catastrophism. Catastrophism is supported by actual recorded history. Nearly 300 ancient flood legends have survived the ravishment of time. Legends of a worldwide deluge, commonly known as the Noahian flood, are found in Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, North America, and South America. Furthermore, the Earth's sedimentary layers with the fossil record seem to suggest a past marine cataclysm. Sedimentary rocks like sandstone, siltstone, shale, limestone, etc. is the result of moving water laid down layer upon layer by hydrologic sorting. Animals whose fossil remains are found within those layers must have been caught in this running water to have been buried and preserved. Approximately 95% of all Earth's fossils discovered thus far are marine invertebrates. Of the remainder, approximately 4.74% are plant fossils. 0.25% are land invertebrates, including insects, and 0.0125% are vertebrates, the majority of which are fish. Roughly 95% of all land vertebrates discovered and recorded to date consist of less than one bone. Neo-catastrophism is the explanation of sudden extinctions in the paleontological record by high magnitude, low frequency events, as opposed to the more prevalent geomorphological thought which emphasizes low magnitude, high frequency events. However, the theory of catastrophism is contrary to uniformitarianism, the accepted geological doctrine for over 150 years. Uniformitarianism states that current geological process occurring at the same rates observed today, in the same manner, account for all Earth's geological features. Mixing of science and religion is very argumentative question, because religion is based on faith, whereas science is based on reason. The mixing of these two is just like an attempt to mix with oil and water.